Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye, bye. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to Gunners Collective TV. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So I've seen some ridiculous shit in prison. I've seen people get mangled. I've seen people get 4 extra. When I say 4 extra, that means get their whole shit tore off, right? I've seen some, or peanut butter. I've seen some bad stuff. But this story right here kind of takes the cake, especially because it's behind 2 alleged murderers, a female and a male in the same county jail. Now, in my county jail, they kept the women separated in my city, right? So we have 2 county jails. We have the Merced County Jail, which is the old school downtown county jail. And then, of course, we have Sandy Mush, which is more like the farm. Once you get sentenced, you go out there, you do your time. That's where the women are housed throughout their whole court process, right? They keep the women segregated well away from the men, but I'm not even going to lie. Back in the days, we used to work in the kitchen and you could see the women's dorm, the women's side, because there's a brick wall that would block, but you could see them through the kitchen. Back in the days, they switched it all up. Now the food is cooked by an outside facility and shipped in, but that's the way it was. And you used to be able to look at the women. And there was dudes who had full-blown relationships with chicks they just met in there. They're writing notes back and forth, flashing. The chicks used to flash. Dudes used to beg to get up in the kitchen area just for that one purpose. Motherfuckers, it's like, hey, homeboys that don't even care about their chick when they're on the streets. They're too busy getting high, too busy running with the homeboys, too busy kicking it. All of a sudden, they're maniacal. All of a sudden, they can't get enough, right? And it's crazy because they have action. And even myself, as a man, we have action at beautiful women all day, every day, especially when you're in the gang lifestyle or any lifestyle. But let's just take the gang lifestyle because that's the one I was leading. There was always an abundance of women, but we took them for granted. We utilized them. We didn't give a fuck, right? Hey, we expected the unexpected. We expected the chicks to be hang-arounds and hang around us because of who we were and how we looked and what we had, right? We took for granted their feelings, their emotions. None of us cared about any of that. Ladies, earmuffin, I'm about to get some crazy stuff. All we wanted was the pussy from time to time. You know, it wasn't far-fetched to see a gang of homeboys, and I know people are like, oh, that's a sausage fest. The chicks just weren't invited. The homies are all kicking it, getting high, partying, telling war stories, got guns. So, yeah, a lot of us that were intelligent enough to understand that we didn't want to get told on by these chicks, or we didn't want them around because something could pop off at any time and we didn't want them to get hurt and that be on our conscience. Then there was sometimes when we didn't give a fuck. Hey, that's on them. Hey, did you hear what the homeboy, what happened at the homeboy's house with Rosie? No, what happened? She got shot in the ass. It's all right. Did you hear what I did last week? Well, I bit her in the ass. Boom. So there you go. That was the mentality. Now, I've seen a lot of crazy things. Like I said, I used to see homeboys wiggle all up into the kitchen area. You know what I'm saying? Night crawling. We used to call it night crawling, sliding on their stomach just so they can get a glimpse of a chick. And these chicks were just as bad as the men. They knew that they had the men's attention. And it's jail. People are bored. There's not really anything to do. So it's not taboo to go against the grain. The cops and robbers, right? The cops are steadily trying to enforce the rules, and you're trying to break them no matter if it's smoking a cigarette and you can't have a cigarette, making a weapon and you can't have a weapon even though if you're not going to use it, right? Or taking a peek and a gander at a female that's allowing you to see her. Because most of these females were worse than we were. Like, we'd be fucking working and she'd not even pay attention. They'd be banging on the windows. Boom, boom, boom. You look and you see tetas everywhere. What do you think a man's going to do? Well, a man in my situation was like, right? Like, hell yeah. It was on the cracker. So that's about as close as we were able to get in my county jail to women. Now, I remember being in the youth authority, and in YA, there was a youth authority. There was a camp, compound, prison, facility called Ventura. It was in Camarillo, right? Camarillo. And everybody and their mom wanted to go there. Like all the homies wanted to go there. All the Northerners, all the Southsiders. It was in Southern California. So there was always going to be Southerners there, not Northerners. But I remember we used to strive for excellence. We used to try to be over there, right? Wasn't sending anyone there until you really got into the gangbanging mentality of the 90s. Then you realize, man, fuck that spot. There was a number of poop butts and chumps there. That's what we thought. I'm not saying everyone that went there was not with the business, but I'm saying you had to be a super duper duper super programmer to go over there. You got a one fight, one write-up, you're up out of there. Okay. There are people that I know that have went to Ventura, you know, from the southern side, not the other side. They did go to Ventura and they programmed and they did their thing. And why wouldn't you? Looking at it from the outside in now, why wouldn't you? It was a co-ed facility. That means there was females on the yard with men. Okay, they went to school together. They programmed together. They didn't necessarily sleep in the same beds, but they slept in some of the same beds, right? There was ways to wiggle. Dudes had full-blown relationships, this chick, that chick. So everybody was like, damn, you're a youngster in YA, a teenager, right? What do you think you're trying to do? You're trying to go over there and get something 18. You're trying to get something 18 out the way, right? For real. So everybody wanted to go there until they heard, oh, you got to program and kick it, and you can't get into any shenanigans. And everyone was like, man, fuck that place. Because we knew we weren't going to make it. Most of us, our YA career, we were maxed out before we were maxed in. Truth, right? The only other facility that I've seen like this, and this one got real easy and greasy, was in the state of Oregon. In the state of Oregon, there used to be a prison, an actual prison called Columbia River. And that prison, I remember hearing stories. I was doing time. I was hearing stories about that prison. That was a co-ed, an actual co-ed adult prison with men and women walking the yard, going to yard and walking the yard at the same damn time. Imagine that. It was like a level 1 minimum. For the women, it was all women before they ended up building a new prison to house the women, right? So everywhere you had murderers, you had rapists, you had all these that were women there. And then you had guys there for fucking stealing cars and spray painting. Okay, or dudes who had worked themselves down to a minimum security status. Man, there were stories about chicks fucking getting pregnant, chicks fucking sucking chorra while they're walking. The chicks mastered the art of the mamon while moving. The guard tower right there, vatos are walking, the chicks are just bending down, just handling their business, right? Believe me, there was a lot of individuals, again, trying to get their minimum status, not because they wanted to do good and program and go home, because they wanted one of those mamons by them fat chicks with no teeth. Like, show, right? That was that. Truth. So there are certain facilities, I'm sure, in out of state, there might be some ways to wiggle, but these are the only things I've ever come across. Now, I came across an article, and it's crazy. I didn't think it could be done, didn't believe it, but it's all facts, and it's based off facts. So I'm going to read you this article. Trip out on this, right? This shit right here blew my mind. 2 inmates at Miami-Dade's Turner Guilford Night Correctional Facility conceived a child without even meeting face-to-face. First of all, number one, that fucking prison is too long. That's too many names. Like, I know a bunch of SEALs died and everyone got a fucking piece of the pie. Stop it. Just call it the Turner facility, right? These people conceived a child, a male and a female. Well, that's the way it usually works, right? Unless you're a they, them. But the male and the female that never met each other, they're both on 2 separate murder cases, housed in the same section, one up top and one on the bottom. Now let's go. They used bedding tied into a string dropped through a share cell vent. The man, Joan DePaz, wrapped his semen in saran wrap, passed it through the vent line, and the woman, Daisy Link, retrieved it. She then used a yeast infection applicator. Sounds good. As soon as I would have heard yeast infection, I'd have been out of there, but that's him, right? To inseminate herself, repeating the process over and over again until she became pregnant. Miraculously, the woman gave birth to a healthy baby girl in June. The couple, both charged with murder on separate cases, are now housed separately. Okay, but they regularly get video chat with their daughter. Miami-Dade Corrections has since launched an internal investigation and updated security protocol. This man nutted through the vent. They figured it out. We're talking about 2 people that had never met face to face. They fell in love through the wire. Pasa el alambre, a pie face. Pasa el alambre. You know, pass the wire. Well, he passed his wire, all right. And she got pregnant. You know, it's fate. However it happens, it happens. See, I've always believed that having kids is a blessing. It's a blessing from God or whoever you believe in, your higher power, right? It's a blessing. It truly is a blessing. Children change lives. I've seen it, man. I had a homegirl that she was like crazy lazy. She was about the bed. She was like that chick from Sinner. She'll bite your fucking neck off, right? She was just, believe me, she sucked on my neck. One time I had sangre dripping. Like, I don't know where that came from. She was like, she'll go straight for the jugular. She was just a gangster chick. Like two gangsters sometimes. She'd be like, what's up, babe? I'd be like, fucking nada, right? Hell nah, right? She was like, let's kick it. I was like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? When we kick, I'm sore. So that's it feels like a fucking backwards massage. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have my knees looking like fucking Chito Ranas is backwards. I'm cool. Come on, man. I'll do anything for you, Pac-Man. Like, nah. No, you won't. You're not going to gobble my fucking gobstopper. Everlasting. I'm good. I used to distance myself, but that's how gangster she was. But she had children, and immediately I'm like, one day I was a maniaco. What's up, girl? What's up with that fucking power mom on? Right? She was like, oh, I'm on my way to church, eh? And then I got to go do my kids' appointments. And I was like, kids? How many fucking kids you had? I remember you were pregnant. Well, you know what I'm saying? The fucking don't stop. So I had both. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Let's go. She was like, nah, I got shit to do. Anyways, she changed. She definitely changed and became a better person. Right? So kids do change you. They're a blessing. They help you. They could save your life. My kids definitely have saved my life. You know, every time I'm thinking like, oh man, fuck these cats. I can get active too. All this shit. Then my daughter says, Dad, I got to go to dance practice. My other one's like, Dad, I want to go swimming. My other one's like, Dad. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. The cool part is, why would you bring a child? My nose fucking itchy. I got a red mark and shit. Why would you bring a child into this world and try to have a child knowing you're probably going to get convicted of murder? Your old man's going to get convicted of murder. And it's not the woman's fault, but it takes two to tangle. In this case, they didn't even fucking tangle. The only thing that got tangled was the string, right? Through the vent. What kind of mentality do people have to literally do some shit like this? How'd this conversation take place? And first of all, when I would, and me, I'm very thorough, like in what I ask. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thorough like Adam 22 investigation thorough, but I'm pretty thorough on what I ask, right? So I would have told the chick, if I'm feeling the chick, like, damn, whatever, right? She's in there doing her thing and I could hear it through the van. I'm over there fucking getting mine, right? I would have been like, hey, and she's like, she would have came up with this wacky idea. Oh man, I want to have your baby, which is what usually happens. I want to have your kid, right? Or I want you to have my baby, whatever. It goes both ways. I'd have been like, but how? She was like, I don't even trip. Every week they give me a yeast infection thing. And I would go, hold up. Why? Why do you got a yeast infection applicator in your cell? You know, no, because my shit's inflamed. Well, hold up. At this point, I don't want my baby coming out of that. I don't want my baby looking like Ghost Rider. I do not want my baby anywhere around some walls that are moist, hot, and burning. Okay? The moist, hot part, I get it. But the burning part, I don't want it. No, I know it, right? How many ways do I have to explain to you? Want me to explain it to you in Hindu? No, brother. I do not want you to put my Slurpee in your big go. Okay? That's it. Do you want me to explain it in wood? Oh, no, brother. I skinned that. I don't want that to happen either. Do you want me to explain it in Paisa? No, porque está tinky. That's it. I could explain it in all different fucking vibes and languages. That would have been the end of that conversation. But I want to have your baby. Yeah, so do a lot of other bitches. But guess what? I'm a murderer, so I'm never getting out. So that ain't going to happen. But for whatever reason, this man and this woman decided to do this. And now the cool part about it is they conceived a child. The child was born, so that's a blessing. Maybe it's going to help them change their mind state. But what about the baby? Now the baby has to be immediately put in the system or put with the family. Imagine being a burden. You say, all right, let's take for instance, you got a son. He's a fuck up, right? You've tried, man. You've tried. Just like my mother and father tried. Well, my father didn't really give a fuck, but my mother tried, right? And I still was going to do what I was going to do. No one could tell me shit. And so I got caught up on a murder case. These are true stories, facts, right? But we're going to put a for instance in it. So imagine I go to jail, right? Boom. And I meet some chick in there. She's on the other side of the wall. God forbid her shit's not yeast infected, right? And we start to talking and all of a sudden, yeah, let's make a baby. You know, you're caught up in the moment. You know, first of all, I don't know about jacking off in the saran wrap. It might feel good. and it might not. So I don't know how that works. You know what I'm saying? I'm usually a sock guy, but whatever. We're not going to get into details here. And so, okay, I slide it through the vet, whatever. She does what she does. She applicates it. And then she gets pregnant. What am I going to tell my family? Do you know how mad my heifer would be? She'd be like, damn, I didn't even get to fuck. And now you want me to take care of a baby? Hell no. Oh, hell no. Nah. Right? I'd be like, it's more stampillas, you get more food stamp. You know what I mean? The thing is, the burden is placed on the system now. It's placed on the other family members. I'm sure that's what happened. The baby went to the family. And now they get to play proud parents. Oh, we get video calls. We get to see our baby that we made through the wall. Eat me through the wire. They made her through the wire. Right? They get to see their strapping baby girl that they made on a dirty fucking jail wall. Through a dirty jail wall. I don't get it. Some people nowadays, it's amazing the world that we live in. You know? And I understand though. I get it from this point. They're both facing murder charges. So if both convicted of murder charge, two separate murders, just two murderers linked up, they just happen to, hey, what are you in here for? Killing my boyfriend? What are you in here for? I strangled my old lady. Okay, let's have a baby. Sure, right? You know what I mean? They're just, their pickers aren't broken up. They picked the right one. So they decide to have a kid, probably based off the fact that, hey, they're not going to get too much more action at. I mean, the woman will probably have more action. She can fuck every captain in there. I'm sure he'll be down, right? As far as the guy, unless he likes peanut butter and carrots, he probably ain't getting nothing. You know, it's very hard to knock a CO. People think, oh, I can knock a CO everywhere I go. That's lies. That's frivolous lies. Half the time, some of these fucking cats that you see that do knock the CO, and what I mean by knocking the CO is being able to get her. Half these motherfuckers look ugly as like, you don't get it. They be like, hey, fool, I'm boning that CO. Like, bro, look, you have fucking 10 teeth left. And it's all up top. I'm like, yeah, but she's on me. And I'm like, she hasn't seen me in the shower yet, right? But it's just, that's the way it works. So I could see from a position of they're going to have a baby because they don't have action at it. And they want, I don't know, maybe they fell in love through the toilet. You know, I don't know, but it's just odd to me. And I'd never seen that. And so I thought I'd shed some light on it. You know, let me tell you guys a quick little story, an addendum. It's halfway feeds into this. So I'm doing time in the shoe, you know, in a different state, not in California. It's the equivalent of the shoe, different name, same shit. And there was this cop. He was a sergeant, Italian dude, cool than a motherfucker. Looked like fucking Herman Munster, right? But just cool. Cool, like, hey, he never once was out of pocket. He never once was an asshole. He just was one of those carefree dudes, like, he's just whatever, man, right? You'd be like, hey, Sergeant. He'd be like, what's up? I'd be like, hey, bro, can you pass the homeboy some envelopes down there? He's like, what cell? I'm like, that one over there. He'd be like, cool, is that it? Because I'm only going to pass by once, bro. So everything you got. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I got a gun to pass there too. I mean, shoot it. He'd fuck with them, right? He didn't care. So he was just hella cool with people. He'd literally come to your door and have conversations about your case. Like, damn, bro, why'd you fuck up, man? I'd like to have a beer with you. You're a cool dude. Like, he was an anomaly. He was an exception to the rule. When he worked, hey, we knew all our shit was going to get passed. Hey, program was going to function and run. And excuse me, my shit glitched a little bit. And he's there, right? And he tells me, he's like, hey, man, he comes to my door. He goes, I just wanted to tell you, man, I'm going to get up out of here and shit. And I said, all right, cool. Well, you know, tell wifey. He's like, oh, no. I got chicks. I don't got my wife. My wife left me a long time ago. I said, oh, that's what's up. He was like, hey, bro, I'm not going to be around no more. I said, oh, they're moving you to a different unit? He says, nah, bro, they're opening up a new women's prison. And I'm going to go work there. I'm going to be a captain over there. I was like, congratulations, bro. You're going to do your thing, right? You're making good money. He's like, man, I'm going to go over there and fuck all them bitches, right? Let me tell you something that happened. About a year later, I'm reading the newspaper. This motherfucker's on the front page of the newspaper, arrested. He got about 7 different chicks pregnant all at the same time. He got fired, right? Hey, I said, this is a stand-up motherfucker about his word. This motherfucker told me what he was going to do and proceeded to do it. I would love to have him as a crime partner. He was just about it. Anyways, back to this chick and this dude, man. These two literally made a baby by fishing, prison fishing. You know, I'm used to fishing sopas, bars of soap, you know what I'm saying, in an occasional magazine. But a baby? That's some new shit. Hey, Spencer la tira. I'm about to shoot my mecos down to my chick. Hey, so, hey, if any spill on the tira, don't shoot the magazine. Okay? Pass the wire. Hey, Pieface, pass the wire. I got some echoes over here for you. You know? Anyways, with that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Let me know what you guys think. This is a controversial topic. Do you think they should be allowed as parents to be in that baby's lives? Is that like abuse right from the gate? Or it just is what it is? Unprecedented. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people, man. I appreciate all your support. Gracias.